Welcome to another video lesson on research methodology. In this module, I am going to present the topic probability sampling under methods of sampling. What is the method of sampling? Sampling method refers to the way of selecting sample from the population. So it is the way used to select sample from the population. Sampling method refers to the way that the items or observations are selected from a population as sample for a sample survey. So it is the way used for selecting a sample from the population. Then selecting an appropriate sampling method suitable for the study is an important element of every research. So selecting an appropriate sample is one of the most important tasks in every research. Best sampling method is the method that ensure representativeness and meet the goals of the study. So the sampling method must be suitable to the goals of the study and it should ensure the representativeness of the population. Sampling methods may be classified into two basic categories, probability sampling and random sampling, and the other one is non-probability sampling or non-random sampling. Probability sampling may be further classified into unrestricted sampling and restricted sampling. Under unrestricted sampling, there will be a simple random sampling which consists of lottery method and table of random numbers. And under restricted random sampling, there are sampling methods such as stratified sampling, systematic sampling, cluster sampling, multi-stage sampling, multi-phase sampling, etc. Then non-probability or non-random sampling consists of various methods such as convenience sampling, purposive sampling, quota sampling, snowball sampling, etc. In this module, I am discussing the topic probability or random sampling. What is probability sampling or random sampling? It is a sampling method based on the theory of probability. So random sampling is based on the theory of probability. In random sampling, observations or items are selected at random. Then what is random selection? Each member or unit of the population has an equal chance of being selected. So in random sampling, it ensures that each and every item of the population has an equal chance of being selected. Probability sampling allows researchers to create a sample that is accurately representative of the real population. That means if the samples are selected at random, it ensures that the sample is accurately representative of the real population. What are the features of probability sampling? In probability sampling, every item of population has an equal chance of being selected. It means that each individual is chosen randomly and entirely by chance, such that each individual has the same probability of being chosen. Probability sampling yields an accurately representative sample. That means if samples are taken at random, it will be more accurate and representative. The findings of the sample survey are generalizable to the population. If samples are selected at random, the findings of the sample survey can be applied to other situations. Through randomization, the danger of unknown sampling bias can be minimized. So sampling bias can be minimized through randomization. A truly random sampling is possible only when the population is known and finite. But there are some sampling methods that can be adopted even if the population is unknown and infinite. That will be discussed later. Types of probability sampling. As I told earlier, probability sampling may be classified into two categories, unrestricted sampling and restricted sampling. Let me start from unrestricted sampling or simple random sampling. Unrestricted sampling occurs when elements are selected individually and directly from the population. Here the population is not divided into groups. The population is taken as a whole and the elements are selected individually and directly from the population. Samples are selected directly from the population without categorization or grouping. This sampling technique gives each element an equal and independent chance of being selected. The unrestricted sampling may be in the form of lottery method and a random number table method. What is a lottery method? Under this method, each items of the universe are written on identical paper slips and then folded and mixed together. So all items of the universe or the list of the population is prepared, and each item of the universe are written on identical paper slips and then folded and mixed together. Out of the slips, required number of samples are picked up with the folded eyes. So from these mixed and folded slips, required number of samples are picked up. Next one, random number table method. Under this method, samples are selected by using a standard random number table. So in this method, a standard random number table is used to draw sample. A random number table is a series of digits arranged randomly in rows and columns. Number of random number tables are prepared and published by statisticians. For example, Tippett's random number table, Fisher and Yates table, Kendall and Babington Smith table, etc. Microsoft Excel has a function to produce random numbers. Rand and rand between functions can be used for this purpose. Now let us see an example of taking sample by using a random number table. How to select 10 students as sample from a list of 800 students. A list of 800 students is available. We want to select 10 students from it. Then how to select these 10 students by using a random number table. This is the part of a standard random number table. To start, the first number or any one row or column may be selected at random. If we select the second row, we can start from here. We have to consider all 3 digits numbers under 800 or number in between 800 and 0. So the first 3 digit number is 902. 902. But it is not under 800. So we can omit. Then the next number is 222. We can take 222. Then 799. 799. Then 304. 304. Then next number 952. 952. But it is not under 800. So we can exclude it. Then next one 667. 667. Then next 625. 625. Then 034. 034. Then 971. 971. 971 is not under 800, so we can exclude it. Then 146. 146. Then 976. 976 may be excluded. Then 688. 688. Then 652. 652. And the last number is 385. 385. So I have selected 10 numbers: 222, 799, 304, 667, 625, 034, 146, 688, 652 and 385. This is the way of selecting sample from a random number table. Advantages of simple random sampling. All items in the population have an equal chance of being selected. Among all the probability sampling techniques, simple random sampling is the easiest method to apply. Then the amount of sampling error associated with any sample drawn can be easily be computed in simple random sampling. Then disadvantages of simple random sampling. The complete list of population is required to select sample under simple random sampling. It does not ensure proportionate representation to various groups constituting the population. If the population consists of heterogeneous groups, it may not ensure proportionate representation. Large sample is required to ensure representativeness of all heterogeneous groups. In this case, that means if the population is heterogeneous, large sample is required to ensure representativeness from all heterogeneous groups. Then it may be expensive in time and money. Next category of random sampling is restricted or complex random sampling. Restricted sampling occurs when elements are chosen using a specific methodology. Population may be grouped to draw sample, or the samples are taken by using a particular procedure. The main restricted random sampling methods are stratified sampling, cluster sampling, systematic sampling, multi-stage sampling, and multi-phase sampling. Let me start from stratified random sampling. If the field of inquiry is not homogeneous, that means if the field of inquiry is heterogeneous, this method can be used. This is an improved type of simple random sampling. In this method, the population is subdivided into homogeneous groups or strata. The population is subdivided into homogeneous groups, and each homogeneous group is called strata on the basis of certain common characteristics. There will be a homogeneity within strata and heterogeneity between strata. That means the items within strata will be homogeneous and the items in between strata will be heterogeneous. Then from each strata, items are selected by using simple random sampling or systematic sampling.
An example of stratified sampling. Here the population is divided on the basis of education. The highly educated people are included in strata 1 and the people with the basic education or literates are included in strata 2. Strata 3 consists of illiterates. The required number of samples can be selected from each strata by using simple random sampling or systematic sampling. Next, advantages of stratified sampling. It enhances the representativeness of the sample by giving proper consideration to all subgroups in the population. If the population is heterogeneous, stratified sampling ensure more representativeness because it consider all subgroups in the population with heterogeneous features. Then it gives higher statistical efficiency. It is easy to carry out this sample method. The disadvantages of stratified sampling. A prior knowledge of the composition of the population and the distribution of the population characteristics are required. So the population must be known and a prior knowledge of the composition of the population is required. This method is very expensive in time and money. The identification of the strata might lead to classification errors. Next method of random sampling is cluster sampling. This method is used when the population elements are scattered over a wider area and a list of population is not readily available. So cluster sampling can be used even if the list of population is not available. It consists of forming suitable clusters within the population on the basis of geographical area, buildings, degree of concentration of units, etc. So the clusters are formulated on the basis of geographical area, buildings, degree of concentration of units, etc. But usually it is formed on the basis of geographical area. When the clusters are selected purely on the basis of geographical area, it is called area sampling. Population within a cluster should be ideally be heterogeneous and there should be homogeneity between clusters. That means there will be heterogeneity within cluster and homogeneity between clusters. That means clusters should be mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive. Each cluster should be a small scale representation of the total population. Cluster sampling may be of three types. First one, single or one stage cluster sampling. It consists of forming suitable clusters of units and surveying all the units in the sample of clusters selected. Here two or more clusters are selected and the data is collected from each and every element of the clusters selected. That means the data is collected from the complete list of population of these selected clusters. Then two-stage cluster sampling. Here clusters are selected at random as the first stage and required samples may be drawn from the selected clusters by using simple random sampling or systematic method. In single or one-stage cluster sampling, the data is collected from each and every item of the cluster selected. But here the data is collected only from the sample taken from the clusters selected. Then another one is multi-stage cluster sampling. It consists of 3 or more stages and the clusters are formulated only at a particular stage of sampling. It will be discussed later under the head multi-stage sampling. For example, a survey on scheduled tribes in Kerala can be conducted by using cluster sampling. Scheduled tribes in Kerala are mainly located in 5 districts: Wayanad, Kannur, Kasaragod, Palakkad and Idukki. We can take these districts as clusters. There is homogeneity between clusters because all are tribal in each cluster, but there is heterogeneity within each cluster because each cluster consists of various tribal who are different in caste, lifestyle, habit, customs, etc. Then two clusters, Wayanad and Idukki, is selected and data is collected from all tribal from these clusters. It is called one stage cluster sampling. So in one stage cluster sampling, the data is collected from all tribal from selected clusters. Then two clusters, Wayanad and Idukki, is selected and data is collected from 300 tribal drawn at random. It is called two-stage cluster sampling. So in two-stage cluster sampling, 300 samples are selected from selected clusters and the data is collected only from this sample. Advantages of cluster sampling. It requires fewer resources. Complete list of population not needed. It is less expensive and more quick. Disadvantages of cluster sampling. Unequal size of clusters lead to bias. More chance of sampling error. Then application of its finding to another area may not be possible. Let us compare cluster sampling and stratified sampling. In cluster sampling, clustering is done on the basis of geographical areas or administrative divisions. It is done mainly on the basis of geographical area. But in stratified sampling, stratification is done on the basis of homogeneity and heterogeneity of population. Here the classification is done on the basis of the characteristics of the population. Then population within cluster is heterogeneous and between cluster is homogeneous. But in stratified sampling, population within strata is homogeneous and between strata is heterogeneous. In cluster sampling, complete list of population not needed. Sampling frame needed for the cluster only. But here sampling frame or list of population is needed for the entire population. Then categories are naturally occurring pre-existing groups. That means the clusters are naturally occurring pre-existing groups. But here the strata or the categories are imposed by the researcher. It is created by the researcher. Then classification variables are geographical area, buildings, administrative divisions, etc. But here the classification variables may be age, gender, income, etc. The third method of random sampling is systematic sampling or fixed interval method. This method can be applied only when the complete list of population is available. So for systematic sampling, complete list of population is required. Under this method, the items of the population is selected by using an interval of magnitude k. So an interval of magnitude k is to be determined first. Then it consists of taking every kth item in the population after a random start with an item from 1 to k. So a random number is to be selected first from the population and we have to start from this random number. Then every kth item in the population is selected. K is equal to population size divided by size of the sample. As the interval between the sample units is fixed, this method is also known as fixed interval method. For example, a sample of 10 students is to be taken from a list of 50 students by using systematic sampling. So the roll number of 50 students are written on a piece of paper. We have to select 10 students from these 50 students by using systematic sampling. First of all, we have to calculate the value of K. K is equal to population size divided by size of sample. Here the population size is 50 and the size of sample is 10. So K is equal to 50 divided by 10 is equal to 5. Then select a number at random between 1 and 5 using lottery method or other. Suppose the selected number is 4, then fourth item is to be selected first. Suppose the selected number between 1 and 5 is 4, then the fourth item is to be selected first as sample. Then the student numbered 9, that means 4 plus 5. Then 9 is to be selected next. Then 14 is to be selected next. Then 19 is to be selected next. Then 24, 29, 34, 39, 44 and 49 is to be selected. This is the method of selecting sample by using systematic sampling. Advantages of systematic sampling. It is simpler and easy to use. It is easier to check whether every kth item has been included in the sample. Sample is spread evenly over the population. Systematic sampling gives a better representative sample. Disadvantages of systematic sampling. First one, complete list of population is needed. Second, this method ignores all elements between two kth items selected. Then except the first item, other selected items are not chosen at random. The next method of random sampling is multi-stage sampling. Multi-stage sampling design is adopted for large-scale sampling surveys. Under this method, sample is prepared by stages. Here, the sample is collected by stages. The population is divided into a number of large sampling units, each of which in turn then divided into smaller units and so on. It uses variety of random sampling methods together. Different random sampling methods are used to select sampling units in each stage. Data is collected only in the last stage. For example, suppose we want to take a sample of 4,500 households from Kerala. At the first stage, the state may be divided into a number of districts and a few districts may be selected at random. So the state of Kerala may be divided into number of districts in the first stage and a few districts, 2 or more districts may be selected at random. At the second stage, each selected district may be divided into corporations, municipalities and panchayats, and 1 or more corporation, municipality and panchayat is selected by using simple random sampling. Then at the third stage, 4,500 households are selected from these selected corporations, municipalities and panchayats at random as the third stage. It is the pictorial representation of the said example. In the first stage, the state of Kerala is divided into various districts and 3 districts are selected at random. The selected districts are Thiruvananthapuram district, Ernakulam district and Wayanad districts. Then each of these districts are classified into corporations, municipalities and panchayats in the second stage. Then 1 corporation, 1 municipality and 1 panchayat is selected from each district. Then 1,500 households are selected from these districts. That means 500 households from corporation, 500 from municipality and 500 from panchayat. And in a total 4,500 households are selected from Kerala by using multi-stage sampling. The last method of random sampling is multi-phase sampling. In this method, part of the information or basic data is collected from whole sample and part from a subsample. That means basic information is collected from all the members of the sample and detailed information is collected from some of these units only. The most common form is two-phase sampling, but 3 or more phases are also possible. For example, basic data about the usage of digital banking is collected from all bank customers, and detailed questions about security issues on e-banking is collected only from a selected part of the sample. That means the detailed question on security issues are collected only from people using electronic banking. Now let me summarize the lesson. Sampling methods may be classified into probability sampling or random sampling, and non-probability sampling or non-random sampling. Probability or random sampling may be further classified into unrestricted sampling and restricted sampling. Unrestricted sampling consists of simple random sampling, which includes lottery method and random number tables. Then restricted sampling consists of stratified sampling, systematic sampling, cluster sampling, multi-stage sampling, and multi-phase sampling. Thank you.